Welcome, everyone. This is our regular Tuesday sessions where we talk about all things trekking in Nepal. My name's Michelle Hill, and my very good friend and colleague, Dinesh Karki, will be doing most of the speaking today because he's the expert. Just to quickly introduce myself, I first trekked in Nepal in 2015. I knew absolutely nothing about trekking or Nepal and booked myself in to do Everest Base Camp and turned up, and uh, it ended up to be an amazing trip. There were a few times along the journey where I seriously questioned my sanity and what was I doing there. But then when we got to Everest Base Camp and I felt that absolute rush of exhilaration of achieving something like that, then I understood why I was there and what it meant for me personally and my personal growth and development. So much so that I went back in 2017 and trekked Annapurna Circuit, and again had an amazing experience. And it helped me to grow and change in different ways this time because I sort of had a bit more of an idea what to expect. And if it hadn't been for a certain pandemic, I would have been back to Nepal probably again in 2020 or 2021. As it is, my next planned trip is in May 2024, where we'll be doing a dual adventure tour, which will include cultural immersions and trekking for those who want to trek, and a little bit more cultural immersions and exploring for those who don't want to. Now, I'm going to turn over to Dinesh now so he can introduce himself and tell us a little bit more about him. And then our topic for today is about some untrodden paths of Nepal. So we're going to explore some of the lesser known treks and look at some of the reasons why people would look at doing these and who they are suitable for. So over to you, Dinesh.
Namaste and welcome everyone in the bench. So I'm Dinesh Karki from Kathmandu, but actually I was born and brought in the eastern part of the Nepal, where is located the big mountain in the world, Mount Everest. I'm for there like my childhood since I'm until my get my high school certificate that we call SLC. And then after that, since the 2003 to now, I'm living in Kathmandu, and along I'm working trekking sector, like tourism sector of Nepal, and as my beginning and my earliest, I was porter. We were working as porter like several years, assistant guides, and then finally I became a full guide. And I have been working as one of the toppest level company in Kathmandu, our local companies, last 10 to 12 years as a full guide. And at the dam, I take many groups in different area of Nepal, like in Everest region, Annapurna, and Pablo, Manaslu, Kanchenjunga, like all over the mountains where taking activities happen. And then also we lead the group in Kailas, which is the west part of Tibet. Lhasa is like capital city of Tibet, and Bhutan, of course, and Thimphu, Paro, this beautiful land, and India.
You've just frozen, Dinesh. Okay. Let me just. I'm just going to send Dinesh a message and just see if he's going to jump out and jump in again. I'm just letting him know he's frozen. I'm just going to try. No, he's disappeared. So while we wait for Dinesh to reconnect, today, as I mentioned, we're going to talk about 3 different areas: Tsum Valley, and I always get the pronunciation of this one wrong. So it's Kanchenjunga Base Camp and Lower Mustang. Now, the reason that we've chosen these areas are because they're just that little bit different to, I guess, what the normal perception of trekking and the type of areas that you go to in Nepal are. And then, as mentioned too, Dinesh, his company, Nature Explore Trek, they run all sorts of different items. And you're back. And I was just filling in time talking about what you do.
Sorry, the poor internet make me break in my internet. Anyway, I was the end of my introduction. So that means after all experience, we're running our own trekking company called Nature Explore Trek, where Michelle and I meet in 2015 on our first trip in Nepal. And since that, we'll continue our trekking company, Nature Explorer, and we've been guiding and organizing so many trips in all over the Nepal, Tibet, all over like in Asian countries. And we among our this journey, we have got like a couple of hundreds excellent feedbacks and very good feedback. That means we're encouraging and hoping to meet you all again in our beautiful Himalaya lands. And that's I want to tell you. I will give my introduction, so I will give you more later.
Thank you very much. Now, while you were frozen and coming back out and coming in, I did mention to the people watching the 3 different areas we're going to talk about today. So I thought we'd start with Tsum Valley. And if you could just tell us a little bit about that particular trek and why it would be kind of considered as a little bit off the beaten path and not somewhere where everyone goes.
Yeah. Well, the Tsum Valley, it is the newly opened trekking trail, and which is a border with Mount Manaslu. The Manaslu circuit is one of the popular trekking nowadays, and it is the Tsum Valley is just the south part of the Manaslu. So it is very hidden valley, and where it is not like popular, and it is also not a common trek, classical trekking trail. So most of the people live there like Tibetans, who were immigrated like 700 to 600 years ago from Tibet. And that means that trekking trail is border with Tibet and Nepal. So this area is surrounded by the beautiful hills, mountains, like Himachali Mountains, Manaslu, and many other unnamed mountains and named mountains because it is the border of the Himalaya. And the people who live there, they are all religiously, they are like Buddhists and the Tibetans, big opposed. They are from immigrated. And from the Tsum Valley or Manaslu, the Tibet is very close and it is border. So this trek is a very big, nowadays became a very popular, and most of the travelers and people who are looking less crowd and quiet and peace and want to explore the hidden gem. So these people choose the Tsum Valley trek because of there is like unexplored things like culture, people and landscape and domestic things, what happened. All the activities are totally rare than other place like in Annapurna and Everest. So the culture and people are totally different in that area. So still the food, accommodations, and the trail looks really trekking, like really alpine. That means like not like a driving road or not like a walking white trail. Just kind of we have to walk along the way to like a hilly side of mountains and crossing so many times like suspension, hanging bridge. And meeting the like small village of like called Sekampar and Chumse, like this is the very popular place, and Nile, Mukumba are the very popular stations, like where people, trekkers stop overnight. And there is like a deep Buddhist culture and very old monasteries and local houses and big villages and mostly the Buddhist people. And this is like totally interesting and different than other mountains. Well, people do trekking in Everest and Annapurna for big mountains and exploration things like big mountains, but that region is more for cultural.
Okay. Yeah. So if it doesn't have as many big mountains and steep climbs as say Everest Base Camp or Annapurna, does that mean it would suit more people in terms of you don't have to be quite as fit?
Yes, that means like we will be not going to the higher part. It's just will be around 4,000 meters. That means like 12,000 to 13,000 feet at the end of the view. Like where we go to the Mukumba. The Mukumba is one of the interested and highlight of this trip. So there is like nunnery and monk, and then old monastery as a history. It is been like old monastery, and where is the most of the local people and join there as a lama, as a school, and this has a big history about the nature, about culture, and which having protecting since established, So there is a big issue. And also people go there for visit the border of Nepal and Tibet.
Yep.
Of course, when we reach at that high place, definitely we will see the Mount Amanasalo and Mount Himalchuli, the Himlung, Himalchuli, and among many other beautiful mountains as well. So this is sweet for as a normal trekkers also. You don't have to be that sporty or adventurous. So because of we're not going to high pass on this trail, we go straight away to the same way to the end of the trekking trail and then come back same way down.
Okay.
And there are some people, if they have a longer holiday and long leave from work, they can also continue Manaslu circuit because they are joining the border joining trail.
Yeah, that was one of the questions I was going to ask you is to trek the Tsum Valley. How long should people allow so that they give themselves enough time to really experience it without feeling like they've got to rush to get to the end?
It is let's say if they only do separate Tsum Valley, it is like 11, 12 days. Just go for Tsum Valley and come back. It is like 11, 12 in total, with the including travel time in Kathmandu. And
Okay. So that's getting to and from Kathmandu as well.
Yeah. And then if we do like both, like Tsum Valley first and then back to the Manaslu circuit, it will be about 18, 17 days.
Okay.
But let's keep, that's like less than 3 weeks.
Right. So when you get to the valley, then you can add the Manaslu one on and make it like quite long time to be trekking.
Yes.
And what about now? I said this before. I'm going to get the pronunciation of this one wrong. Kanchenjunga base camp. So what about that? Like that's as you can tell, I can't even pronounce it properly. So I'm not particularly familiar with it. But perhaps you could tell us a little bit about that. Where it is and why people would choose to go and see it.
Mm-hmm. Yes, the Kanchenjunga is the third oldest high mountain, which is located in eastern part of Nepal, bordering with Sikkim. That means like India belongs to India.
Yeah.
The Sikkim belongs to city of the India part. So it is the border of the Nepal and India, and it is third oldest high mountain called Kanchenjunga. Everyone knows that this is the popular high mountains, and
everyone except
technical, the bigger and popular one. And then it belongs to many trekking trails around there. Like let's say, as we talking Kanchenjunga base camp, it is like 5,100 meter high, and base camp where people set the camp before they climb the Mount Kanchenjunga.
Right.
Of course, this is very remote, far, and end of the edge of the border of Nepal and India, right? So this compared to average Annapurna or Langtang or any Manaslu, any treks, this is more remote, and also it is more far from the Kathmandu or from any cities, and also this trek takes more days compared to the other because of the long distance travel and a long way, and it is the distance. If we talk in distance and locatedly, it is very far, right? But here in Kanchenjunga, there is two base camp. If people do the south base camp, there it takes only 14, 15 days because we go the same way and come back same way. Go and reach in base camp and come back same way. And if we do the both base camp at the same time, we have to pass one called Selela Pass, which is about nearly 5,000 meter high pass. It connect the both pass together.
Okay, yeah.
Well, south and north. If we do the both base camp, it takes nearly 3 weeks in total. Time to go to Kathmandu, come back to Kathmandu. Yeah. So Kanchenjunga base camp is on a very popular and remote.
Can I ask a question? So I know with Everest base camp, like you fly to Lukla. So when you leave Kathmandu on this one, like where do you go in a jeep or do you fly somewhere or what?
Yeah, both options are available. So if you want to go by flight, you have to fly to nearest city called Biratnagar or Bhadrapur, Bharatpur, sorry, Badrapur, and then you have to drive. The couple of names are similar, so sometimes it confuse. uh, Badrapur, like Bharatpur, is the nearest airport to connect, and then we will not. Still there, we cannot start trekking because after fly we will take a drive another one day to get to the trekking starting point called Taplejung.
Right.
Taplejung is the place where you stop the jeeps and then you will start walking.
Yep.
I think nowadays the road is reached more further in the mountain. So that means I think the people who want to start the straight, they can go further, like a couple of days more. I mean, they can skip a couple of days itinerary by driving.
Gotcha.
So let's say that the trekking starting point is Mitlung, the place I heard latest news of their car road reached nearby the Mitlung. Mitlung is the local place name. And after that, if they continue trekking all the way up to the north base camp first, and then they visit north base camp, see the Kanchenjunga. Including there is like hundreds of beautiful mountains. Of course, there's so many beautiful mountains. Even we cannot think how many mountains are there and how beautiful are there. So of course the people trekking there for
your friend
and many like beautiful peaks, and then they will come back down to the Selela Pass and then connect to the another base camp, right? So they will start from trek from the gap.
You're kind of freezing up a little bit, Dinesh. You back?
Yeah,
That's okay.
Today my
You're back now. You're back now. Yeah, gotcha. Yeah. That sounds amazing.
I'm sorry for this. And so this is about if they only do one base camp, it is about if they only do the one side of base camp. If they only do the one side of base camp, it takes 14 days to 15 days. And if they do both base camp, it is like 3 weeks in total. Right. Starting point, they can go by driving or by flight. Both options are available. And on the returning also the same. They can come by flight or by driving or by flight. So of course this is remote, far, and you need like the accommodation foods are little less management than Annapurna and Everest. And but we can see more different view than our Everest and Mount Annapurna. And the people who are already done Everest, Annapurna, Langtang, and if they are looking like more adventurous and remote in Nepal, Kanchenjunga circuit would be the suitable trekking for those people.
Yeah, because I was going to say it sounds like an amazing trip, but probably not something that we would recommend to somebody for their first trip to Nepal.
I'm agree for this. Yes, I cannot also recommend first time.
Yeah. So somebody who's maybe been 2 or 3 or 4 times, and they're looking for something that's a bit more of a challenge and a bit more remote, and just that untrodden, untouched feel, this would probably be a really good option for them.
It is.
Okay. So let's talk about Lower Mustang then. What's different about Lower Mustang?
Lower Mustang, it is located and border of Annapurna Himalaya, and I think you have been there, Muktinath and Jorsam, right? So those people you already knew that, and this is very nowadays. If I'm saying to honestly, this area is more driving route because of it is being like more commercial. But if we see like it also is still remote, and then still like the views are different. Of course, we have beautiful view of Mount Dholagiri, and it is also it is located with the border of the Upper Mustang and Annapurna, right? This Lower Mustang is more especially called Muktinath, Johnson, Kagbeni, Marpa, and Tukuche. These places are like Lower Mustangs, and these parts are really different than other places. They are nowadays they became commercial, but still the views and people, their basic lifestyle are totally different. And the people who live there, they are like more Buddhists and Takali, and they're also like the culture is similar, like high mountains who people live in from long time, and they have a culture is Buddhism. And there's so many different temples like monasteries, temples in Muktinath, and monastery in Muktinath, and mountains on Mount Dholagiri, Tilicho Peak, Mount Nilgiri, and the plateau of Tibet. Like it's very more dry. That area is not like a more muddy, even in the monsoon, less rain.
Yes.
And this trekking is very sweet to people who are looking for first time in Nepal also, and for beginners. And because of if someone wait to trekking and go to their trekking that area and then feel tired, they have alternative option, can drive the also there is they can also go by airplane to Johnson from Pokhara.
Now,
So
can I share something just quickly? That when we were doing Annapurna circuit, there was one day when we were in that area where we went. It's dusty and it's dry, and we caught the bus for the day instead of trekking. Because I think we'd been on the trail for about 2 weeks or something like that, or a bit longer. I can't remember, but yeah, the five of us kind of went, let's do something different today. So we went down to the local bus station and we caught the bus. So there's always that option too.
Yes, there's options, and this is very good trekking trail. Even on this trek, you can do in monsoon time also.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Yeah, because of more less rain in this area.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, because we talked a little bit about that the other week, about what areas during monsoon season. That's hard to say. That you could still go to, and you'd still have a good experience. So, okay. Well, did you want to add anything else to any of those? I mean, that's a pretty good coverage and a good overview for people who, like a lot of people have they know about Everest Base Camp and they know about Annapurna Circuit, but once you start looking into Nepal, there are so many different options and so many different areas. So it's good to just focus on a few different areas and just give people different ideas or different things to aim for, like the ones that are like 3 weeks long, where you need to be a bit fitter and a little bit more track ready and a little bit more mentally tough, I think, too. That could be something that's good to aim for, but not necessarily great for your first trip. Like knowing what I know now, I wouldn't suggest a 3-week remote hard slog as your very first trip. Probably start off with something just a tad easier so that you can get yourself used to it.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, that's about it for today. I didn't have anything else to add. We'll be talking again at the same time next week, which is 1:15 p.m. Brisbane time and 9 a.m. Kathmandu time on a Tuesday. If you would like to be part of the discussion, register on the Zoom link, and when you see the next events coming up, register, jump on, and you can ask questions directly if you have specific questions, or you could share some of your stories and adventures and let other people know what you found when you were in Nepal. And I just wanted to mention too that next week, and I'm just checking my notes, the topic is green trails. So what we're going to talk about next week is what are some of the eco-friendly practices that we as visitors to Nepal can practice when we come there to go trekking. So until then, if you have questions and you really do need some help figuring out what do you want to do when you get to Nepal, how do you organize things, what's the best one for me, feel free to get in touch with either Dinesh or myself, or watch some of our replays of our previous discussions, because we have covered quite a variety of topics. So you might find your answers there, but we always love to chat. So if you'd like to reach out, please do so. Until then, we will see you same time next week. Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you.